Sarah sat on her bed holding her phone. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. Her boss had texted her again to see if she wanted to cover this weekend. Sarah had plans. Her daughter's soccer game was Saturday morning. Sunday was family dinner she'd committed to with her parents. Her mind was already typing. Of course, no problem. I'll figure something out. This is an example story. Most everyone has one that looks slightly different, but if you dig into the patterns that show up around the times you say yes when you want to say no, you've arrived at the familiar moment. The moment your mind skips straight to yes before you even take a look at what it really means to say yes. Sarah was so conditioned to automatically saying yes that she didn't even remember there was a decision to make. She typed out her response, sent the text, and winced through the fleeting cocktail of guilt and relief that followed her yes. Here's the tricky part. Sarah didn't say yes because she wanted to cover this shift. She said yes because she couldn't bear the thought of saying no. No was heavy. No had bad energy. No made her sound difficult. Until one day, 3 weeks later, she found herself telling her coworker Marcus how effortless he looked when he declined covering a shift that would have required him to work his anniversary weekend.
Marcus stopped Sarah mid-rant and leaned in. When did you decide that setting boundaries wasn't selfish? Sarah paused. She wasn't quite sure how the conversation had led to this, but knew instantly that Marcus was dropping a goldmine. You made boundaries feel like walls with barbed wire on top, limitations to help you keep people out. He smiled, seeing Sarah's confusion. But boundaries are the opposite of that. Boundaries are just clarity about what you can offer and what you can't. This conversation would become the foundation of everything Sarah learned about saying no. She'd put so much emotional garbage on saying no that she thought refusing someone's request made her a terrible person. But Marcus reminded her there was a distinct difference between saying yes when you want to say no and true generosity. If you liked this episode, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe on Master Being Human. Curious humans just like you help make our journey possible by sharing this content with others who are looking to dive deeper.
When Sarah's boss texted her the following weekend, her entire body tensed up. But this time, something was different. She felt a flicker of panic at the idea of letting someone down, but she also felt a seed of curiosity. What if I just said no? Her reply was matter of fact. I can't work this weekend, but happy to help you figure out who can. Sarah clicked send before her people-pleasing could kick in with 10 excuses as to why she just had to work. Her boss found someone else to cover her shift, her daughter kicked 2 goals Saturday morning, and Sarah made it through Sunday dinner without hiding behind her phone every 30 minutes, psyching herself out for how tired she was going to feel on Monday. This is the magic of mastering being human. Not some big radical change, small moments you choose something different, something real. 3 things happen when you practice this type of clarity. Number 1, your feelings about saying no don't always match the reality of what happens when you do.
Number 2, saying no actually gives you more space to be generous, not less. Number 3, most people are way more receptive to your boundaries than you think. Sarah began to realize something in those first few weeks of holding firm. She didn't say yes all the time. The weird thing is, when she stopped overgiving, her yeses became so much bigger than it used to be. The work she said yes to had her full attention. Time with her friends and family wasn't spent mentally checking out because she felt the need to be somewhere else. But maybe most importantly, Sarah started noticing how many people around her were behaving the exact same way. Her coworker Jessica, who stayed until 8 every night but worked through lunch just to keep her boss happy. Her friend David, who became group text mom for his circle of friends. Everyone leaned on David for everything, and he was starting to resent his friends for it. Once you start to see this pattern show up in yourself, you start to see how prevalent it is everywhere around you. We're conditioned to believe saying no makes us selfish. We believe that if we aren't available to people at all hours of the day, we're no longer important to them. The biggest lesson Sarah learned was, no is only scary when you believe saying yes makes you a better human.
The more you practice saying no without judgment, the more present your yes becomes. When you can say no freely, your yes gives from a place of freedom rather than depletion. Your boundaries become invitations for others to show up for you, rather than a sign you don't care. The art of saying no is not about being cold-hearted or selfish. It's about creating the kind of awareness within yourself that allows you to show up perfectly in your relationships and your commitments. It allows you to know with certainty that how much you say no has nothing to do with your worth as a human being. Mastering being human requires you to honor your boundaries and your desire to give back to others. They're not mutually exclusive things. Sarah is still working on her story. She'll probably always be working on it, because we all are, but she no longer accepts requests from others automatically. She pauses now and asks herself some simple questions when someone asks for something. What does this really mean for me? What is my capacity? How can I be of service in a way that respects both myself and this relationship?
If you want to go deeper into your relationship with boundaries, join us over at school, where we hold space to explore these topics together. Becoming a conscious human is hard, especially when we forget we're all in this together and experiencing the messiness of being human. Patterns like overgiving aren't your fault, but they can be changed when we bring awareness to how we're showing up in our lives. Learn more over at school, where we dive deep into what it means to truly master being human.